Welcome back to the channel. This is my second video. My name's Matt, if you don't know me. Before we start, if you're interested in the journey, and this is my journey from being an overweight middle-aged chap who was unfit to wherever it takes me. So if you like and subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic, and that really helps me channel to grow and get better. But this is episode 2, and on today's video what I'm going to talk about is a little bit more of my backstory, so a little bit more about what brought me to this place, and then I'm going to go through my journey on the first 4 weeks of Mounjaro, what it was like, what happened, how it worked, and my weight loss over those 4 weeks, if any. And then that's it. Okay, so if you've watched the first video, then you'll know a little bit about my backstory. If not, then the first video is available and I'll put it on the link somewhere so you'll be able to watch it. But ultimately, my weight loss fitness journey starts a long time ago. When I was very young, school age, so very young, I really absolutely hated exercise with a passion. I would do anything I possibly could to get out of exercising. And as such, when I was younger, I was probably overweight. Although at that age, school age, teenager, I really didn't care. It wasn't really something that bothered me massively. And then as I got a bit older, my metabolism must have been reasonably quick because the weight dropped off me, and between being about 20 and maybe 30, I was a smoker. Well, no, I wasn't a smoker actually. I smoked when I was very young, but when I quit smoking in my early 20s, I put weight on. That then led me to going to Weight Watchers, lost quite a lot of weight at Weight Watchers, and then ultimately as soon as I stopped Weight Watchers it all came back. A bit later on, so let's fast forward to possibly 2008-9. Again, very overweight at that point, and started doing Slimming World, so lost quite a lot of weight on Slimming World, got really slim, stopped Slimming World, put all the weight back on again, started Slimming World again, lost the weight, stopped Slimming World, put all the weight back on again. So very much your typical yo-yo dieter. I wouldn't say it very badly, but obviously wasn't great. Then a few years ago, I was drawn into the keto, so the ketogenic diet, whereby you eat no or very little carbohydrates. Again, followed that diet to an absolute T, and lost lots of weight. Got myself to a very good weight level again. But then as soon as I stopped that, because it's a very difficult diet to do on a continuous basis, because most things have carbs in, so you've got to be very selective. It's very difficult to do when you're out and about with your mates, with a family. It's very difficult. So ultimately I slowly came off that diet, and when I came off that diet, the weight came back on me with a vengeance. And obviously we get back to where I was on the last video, where I told you that obviously my health deteriorated due to a number of different things. Ended up with high blood pressure and was well, the doctor said I was going to be diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and that's what really kicked me in to saying, okay, I need to do something about this now. What can I do that will help me to lose this weight and keep it off? So I did a lot of research and decided that I would go down the route of the weight loss jabs, and I selected Mounjaro because it seemed to have the best record for weight loss. Although I'm not very overweight, I wasn't very overweight, I was overweight, and the fact that I had high blood pressure, that put me at high risk, so therefore we were all good to go. We were all good to go with the Mounjaro. So like I said on my previous video, I started Mounjaro on the 27th of June 2025, and my weight at that point was about 14 stone 7, so about 98 kilos and about 203 pounds. But when I weigh myself on a Monday, and I started taking the jab midway through the week. So when I talk about my weight on the videos on my vlog going forwards, and my fitness and my return to exercise, I'm going to be doing everything from on a Monday. So starting on a Monday. So if we go to the week 1, so the first week, 24th of June, my weight was 14 stone 10. So 93 kilos or 93.4 kilos or 206 pounds. Took my Mounjaro, my first jab of Mounjaro that week, so midway through the week. Side effect wise, I'd watched a lot of videos and done some research, and it appears that if you take the jab of an evening, the side effects tend to be less, because ultimately you're sleeping through the side effects if you get any. So took the first jab of an evening on the midway through that week. Very, very nervous when I took the first jab, very, very nervous. I've never ever injected myself with anything in the past, so sticking a needle into myself was so nerve-wracking. But ultimately that needle is absolutely tiny, and I can categorically say when I put that needle into my stomach, I couldn't feel it. I didn't know I'd stuck it in my stomach at all. I didn't know it was there. Pressed down on the jab, couldn't feel anything at all. When the jab went in, when I'd finished, obviously hold it for a few seconds, pulled it out, nothing, no pain, nothing at all. Was absolutely relieved that I didn't have any pain, no blood, nothing. It was just, it was a surreal moment because it was so nerve-wracking doing it. I was expecting it to really hurt and it didn't. So yeah, first jab down, no issues. First day, so the following day, I did have some nausea, but again, I'd read that you need to drink a lot of water, and drinking a lot of water is a huge thing. So I set myself a goal of drinking 3 litres of water. Don't think I hit it that first day, but I was slightly nauseous. Didn't really have any other side effects, headaches or anything like that. No other side effects, just a bit of nausea. But immediately, the first day, it affected my appetite. I wasn't hungry at all. Significantly didn't want to eat. Had to force myself to eat that day because I just was not hungry at all. And when I did eat, it was a lot smaller portion than I was used to. So I moved from having a big plate to having quite a small plate of food. And throughout that first week, very little in the way of side effects. No diarrhea, no constipation, just a little bit of nausea. But again, drinking water really helps with the nausea. So week 2, so 30th of June, my weight had dropped to 13 stone 13, which is 11 pound down from the Monday previous. So that's a hell of a lot of weight. So that's 88 kilos, 195 pounds. So I definitely knew that the jab was working, but ultimately, when you start a new regime for weight loss, you lose a lot of water weight. So although I wasn't expecting that kind of a weight loss in my first week, because that's absolutely humongous, I do believe my starting weight of 14 stone 10 was high, because we'd had quite a heavy weekend the weekend before, eating a lot of takeaways, rubbish food, horrendous food. So I do believe that was artificially high, that 14 stone 10. So 11 pound down. Midway through that week, second jab, another 2.5 milligram jab, exactly the same. Still a bit apprehensive because I thought maybe the first week was a bit of a fluke, but took the second jab. Again, side effects wise, pretty much no side effects that week at all. Didn't even really get the nausea, but again, appetite was significantly suppressed. Didn't eat anywhere near as much. But what I did start doing was following what I was eating, so looking at the calories that I was taking on board, and I was aiming for somewhere between 12 and 1500 calories a day. Did struggle to hit that level. Most days it was between 1000 calories and 1200 calories. But I did eat, and I tried to emphasize on protein because, again, protein is a good way of reducing the side effects, and it also helps to make sure you don't lose too much muscle mass when you're losing the weight. So week 3, 17th of July, weight was 13 stone 9, so that was a 4 pound reduction again. So that was, again, quite a big weight loss, really, quite a big weight loss. So I was 86.5 kilos or 191 pounds. So week 3, again, took the jab midway through the week, exactly the same, no side effects, no issues. The other thing I did do when taking the jab was switch sides, so I injected myself in my stomach, left, right, every week, swapping it over. But again, still slightly apprehensive taking the jab because you're sticking a needle in yourself, so it was a little bit worrying, a little bit daunting. But again, no issues whatsoever, no side effects. Week 4, so 14th of July, weight was down to 13 stone 5. So 13 stone 5, again, a 4 pound weight loss. That was huge. Again, looking at my food intake, it was around about the 1200 calories mark. So over the 4 weeks, I was taking on board about 1200 calories a day. Some days a little bit less, some days a little bit more. Again, emphasizing on the protein side of things, so I was eating a lot of chicken, a lot of meat. But again, no side effects. So over the first 4 weeks, I lost 19 pounds. That's just absolutely unreal. So I'd lost 8.6 kilos over 4 weeks. That's just huge, absolutely huge. Like I say, my starting weight's probably slightly inflated, but even if we go back to the weight that started when I took the first injection, which was 14 and a half stone to 14 stone 7, 13 stone 5, that's still 16 pound down from starting it to the end of the Monday of the 4th week. That's huge. That's huge. The one thing I did do was I started ramping up my exercise though when I started the jabs. So week 1, I was on the indoor bike. So I've got an indoor bike which allows me to do exercise, use a program called Zwift, which is like a computer game. So there's a workout on there. When I pedal the bike, it gets me to pedal at a certain resistance. So I did 4 sessions on the bike that week, 2 long walks and 3 long walks. So 4 bike sessions, 3 walks. So I did something every single day, and that equated to roughly 6 hours worth of exercise. So on average, I was burning 200 to 300 calories with every single one of those workouts, whether it be a walk, whether it be on the bike. Week 2, I did 4 bike sessions again, 2 walks and 1 run. So I started running. I decided to start the couch to 5k, see if I could get back running, and that was on average about 5 hours of exercise. Week 3, exactly the same, 4 bikes, 2 walks and 1 run, and that was about 6 hours of exercise again. And week 4 was 4 bikes, 1 run and 2 walks. And with the couch to 5k, I was increasing the intensity every week, and with the bike doing about half an hour every session, and then 2 long walks. So again, 200 to 300 calories every day in additional exercise over and above the normal walking. So I did ramp up my exercise, because prior to that, yes, I was doing exercise, but I wasn't doing that as much exercise as that. I was maybe doing 3 cycle sessions a week, a little bit of resistance training, and maybe walking. The job that I do day to day is quite a sedentary job, so I'm sat behind the desk all day, so therefore I don't get very much exercise at work. So by ramping the exercise up, I am burning more calories and I'm eating less calories, so therefore calories in, calories out, I'm going to lose weight. But that's my first 4 weeks. So 4 weeks in, I've lost 19 pounds, absolutely amazing, feel great, and starting to lose inches as well around my waist. In my next video I'll start talking about what I'm losing around my waist, because I think that's quite important, and what my goal is from a weight perspective and also from a fitness perspective. And I will, on my next video, I'll talk about weeks 5 through to 8, so the next 4 weeks, and I will emphasize a little bit more on the fitness regime and how it felt, because at that point, after week 4, we'd done 4 jabs, so 4 lots of injections, so it was time to move up to the 5mg dose. I'll just tell you how that affected it and how that worked with me, what if any side effects I had, and again what my forward plans were looking like at that point. If you've got any questions, queries, or anything you'd like me to talk about in the video, again, leave it in the comments below, and I will try and talk about it in the next video. And if you've got any questions, I'll try and help you. Again, I'm not a medical professional, so anything I talk about on here is just my experiences with this and what I've done and how it's worked for me. Like I say, if you'd like and subscribe to the video, that would be fantastic. The bell tells you when it's going to come out, and I aim to do one of these videos every week and drop it the same day if possible. And just like to say thank you for watching.